to have that available to play on both sides. Up against the Annie, I think is much less likely we actually see that champion. And you have to start thinking, are Weibo going to be more than comfortable with an Ahri? Is that what Ultra Prime is trying to set them up for? Because now you have this Sejuani available here for Weiwei. You have to think Casante's still up. That is definitely a higher priority between these two.
I agree completely. Weibo will pick this on 3 if it's left to TheShy. But Hery wants to take this himself. Just a side note, you know, even though TheShy has played Jax for the first time or one of the first times in his career, this split, he does not really like the champion. I can tell you that from a TheShy apologist over the years. So now that we get the Azir towards mid, we hold our breath for what can be in that top side. I do hope it is something a little bit more explosive from TheShy, as Ornn was his game 1 choice.
Maybe he goes for an AP Gragas. You have to imagine that for Ultra Prime, they're going to be getting rid of the very obvious things like the Gwen. Taking that away from Weibo. They would have a lot of magic damage, especially now with that Azir that we saw picked up for Xiaohu. Again, one of these teams for Weibo, I actually have it written even for TES, but this is a pretty interesting one. The fact that a lot of, some of our teams here in the LPL are a lot more mid-centric, specifically LNG, where they will play for their mid laners advantage. And if Xiaohu's going to go on a rip yet again, I am definitely okay with them being this kind of team. I love seeing when Xiaohu's able to pop off and have those really dominant splits of performance. And here with the Azir, gives them a lot of late game team fighting. We already see here from the side of Weibo, they've got some good tools. I think they are a bit confused in terms of identity, and we'll see how they kind of round this out.
I just want to see again, what is that support pick as well? Chris hasn't been banned out. It's TheShy for the Renekton. On the other side, Weibo getting rid of that pick that Light was just talking about in the interview, of that Ashe being strong in lane and stopping Doggo and SwordArt from having some tools themselves. We are going down the pool. We're going down the pool of 80 carries. I feel like we're going down the pool of top laners as well. Everything slimmed out nicely. The Gnar as well, a classic TheShy champion. So now, what does he have? Looks towards the coaching staff. I hope it's something spicy as counterpick for top side to see what the comp does. I like it.
All right. Well, now there's so much dive coming out from Weibo that Ultra Prime need to be careful. Doggo, I really hate talking about hovers, but this is definitely a champion that can do very well in the bottom lane, but it has not been very successful, I think, for Ultra Prime as a whole. Varus has been incredibly strong. I did want to kind of say that we're talking about all the 80 carries being gone, but Aphelios is still up. Xayah is still available. It seems like they want to try to be as lane dominant as possible. Varus has some of his flex builds. We'll see what Ultra Prime actually end up going for. If it is going to be that AP build that we've been seeing from a lot of bot laners, is it going to be the on hit? Can we get lethality? So many different kind of modes, I think, that you can play with Varus, which just kind of opens you up a little bit.
I think SwordArt, though, on the other side, let's just quickly talk about the combination. Setting up the 2v2, more engaged potential. But we do have a big focus on Doggo for damage this game, maybe alongside Dreamers. What's happening topside? We all want to know. Oh, he's flexing his champ pool. No, not the Jax, TheShy. Forget the Jax, brother. You don't want to play it. Anything but the Jax, I'm chill. And seeing a Poppy, you know what? I'm still chill.
Yeah, it's definitely new. It's something different that we've been getting. I was wondering at the beginning of this split, where are all the Fiora GP players? Like, if tank top laners are going to be the thing, let's try to abuse that. We saw Renekton come back in to try to play around Rift Herald. Poppy now should be able to abuse the fact that Ultra Prime, outside of this mid and AD carry champions, very low range, going to have to definitely be walking in, and we'll see what TheShy could actually do, because if we're going to get more of what we saw in Game 1, I don't think Poppy's going to have as much of an influence, and we'll be looking more, again, at our mid-jungles here.
Well, Game 1, I mean, that was what we were doing anyway. Like, Light and Xiaohu, even throughout the split, Light especially has been the most solid player of WBG. He's been the old reliable, and I think if we're looking at how Light's set up in this game, we are expecting this man to be set up to pop off again. Xiaohu, too, on the Azir as weiwei, playing towards those lanes in the early game is how they got themselves such a clean game number 1 win. Here on the Sejuani, let's see if Ultra Prime can survive the onslaught in the first 15 this time around, or if Weibo are back on top, can move to 7 wins, and their chance of playoffs continue to be high and mighty with the schedule they have ahead. They've got to prove themselves here today. A 2-0, I think, would do exactly that. as we're about to head back onto Summoner's Rift to see if Ultra Prime can keep their playoff dream, however small it may have been coming into today, alive and well. This team has such a hard road ahead, but a game win, a series win against Weibo would be insane for their split run, and it would put them right back into the conversation yet again here in the LPL 2023 Summer Split to make a miracle run.
In the Xiaohus. Always love that. For Ultra Prime, Doggo is going to have to be man of the hour this game. We've been setting him up all series long to try to get that done. But here on the Varus, he has such extended range. His ability to actually interact with the Azir will be very pivotal into whether or not we see Ultra Prime be competitive in this game. Going for the on-hit build, going for the lethal tempo, so we should see something more of, you know, the longer fights are going to go. It should be better. But you look at what Ultra Prime have, they have abilities to kind of pick apart a team fight at will. Not much after that. I love that TheShy, but he didn't even notice. There was no actual reaction.
But hang on, Ning's coming in. Hello, old friend. Just a bit of damage onto TheShy in return. He's still walking in. The hammer shot keeps falling down as... Look, he does get the ward down. And as the buckler comes out as well into Ning, he just keeps on walking, trying to make a bit of a pain for his ex-Worlds jungler, but will go to lane eventually as Ning spotted on the top side for his start. Weiwei not spotted as he has actually started on the Raptor camp and is continuing to path up for a 3-camp start himself.
Both junglers looking to path down bot lane here. I like the kind of nod to whether or not we'll see Weiwei actually go and try to affect this top lane early on. We'll have the red buff available to him, but looks like instead, if these two want, they can full clear all the way down, maybe look for a play. Probably just going to be full clears across the board. We are looking at our solo laners here to really get a lot of that early action done. Again, Xiaohu now on this Azir should be able to utilize some of that range up against Annie, and it'll be not only up to them, but kind of to see whether or not Ning is going to get active. Being early spotted, you see what Weibo's bot lane are doing, getting priority, getting vision. This is all to stop Ning from getting away with some of those dastardly plays we know him for.
And we know that his bot side, I mean, Weibo do at least, right? Again, that vision from TheShy helps out Weibo know that his pathing has to lead him down to this bot lane, as that ward will spot if he tries to come through Tri-Brush. The SwordArt is just trying to clear one, but they're like, okay, where did they put this ward? A very sneaky here from Light and Crisp, as it's not cleansed away. SwordArt getting a bit of engage in the meantime, though. The engage onto Doggo, speaking, everything lands. He flashes away and cleanses. Rel and Kaiser are just an insane 2v2.
As soon as you lose your Alistar Headbutt Pulverize, that's the go button. Those things should be used to try to stop Chris from getting in. And when you use it so aggressively, you get punished. It's more like you save them to be able to stop Rel, and the minute you try to play proactive, that's their punish. Weibo getting so many plasma procs onto Doggo, and this wave is pushing away from him. So good job from Weiwei to come to this crash. Ning, unfortunately, is going to have to get pulled away from his clear and needs to be here now.
All in flip. SwordArt has flash. Permafrost close to hitting here, but SwordArt still without a summoner. 3 out of 4 now down, as all it took was Crisp to again burn that flash himself. Ning trying to come in now, but I'm not sure what they can do with the, as you said, the state of the wave pushing so slowly with lane vision as well helping out. But meanwhile on the top side, Casante versus the Poppy, TheShy dodging away. Hery's got a bigger wave though, makes it hard. Flash hammer shot,
oh,
no! He misses. Buckler's out the Iron Ambassador. He wants a shield, he finds it. Knock up now back again for Hery. Remember, he's got the flash available, as you said. Dream has to flash off our screen.
That was Weiwei visiting mid, surfing right on through after going for that bottom wave. Ning has got to be a man on a mission. We get the replay in the picture-in-picture. They thought they were going to get enough damage. Nice. Flashes over the wall. So now there is no longer the ability for Dream on this level 6 to flash over and get that ultimate. Good job from Weiwei cutting this wave very high. Hery should be fine. Probably going to have to use the summoner spell.
It depends. No, he holds on to the summoner spell. Weiwei with a gank, and look at the timing as well. If we want to keep talking about wave state this game, top wave state not in a great place at all for Hery.
All of the Ultra Prime players right now are probably like screaming, hey, we need our jungler to break the freeze. Ning is like, I have all of my camps up, brother man. This is not happening.
Wow.
This is just not something that's going to be available for us. Like, bottom lane, they needed Ning to help get that crash so that their bottom lane could get the resets. Hery as well, fighting to the death up against TheShy and weiwei. Turns into still a better state. We'll be able to TP back into this. Still, we'll have Hery overextending. And with no punishment, should be okay for the side of Ultra Prime. But again, it is that kind of possibility in the back of their mind. Where is the Sejuani? We haven't been able to get too much proactive vision. A lot of this has been Weibo and just really good placement of these wards.
Again, we need to see Ning with the proactivity in nature as well. Maybe waiting for the 6 as Hammershock down again. Hery getting low, but even though TheShy has ulti, there's not enough damage for now. Bullying him out of lane, well, remember that back timing meant that Hery could shove the wave in. It's reset, but still as it catches towards the middle part of the lane, Hery's zoned out. And TheShy on this Poppy having a bit of a game of it now as he continues to exert dominance.
I love it. It still has tools for him to play in typical TheShy fashion, where if he really wants to go for a solo bolo, if he wants to go for a 1v1, has every single ability in his kit that should be allowing him to get away with such plays. Now, you get to see Chris coming off of a recall here. They want to play for early Dragon. About a minute and a half before the Baron here. Ning has a couple of options. Finishing this now, probably won't be able to actually contest for this. They need to be making plays around topside. TheShy has no TP, he has no flash. This is their timer, especially with Hery having the ultimate. For them to be able to get away with something, the wave is coming into Hery, and so if they want to be able to get that punish, I think this has got to be it. Otherwise, I think this is going to be another game where no early action from Ning means that Weibo get a free early game, and they can continue to look towards the late.
And this time Azir mid as well, like the main source of AP damage on this team is going to have a free lane, which means could be a free game as well. Ultra Prime, as you said, need to get something happening, especially with a mid-jungle duo that we know is so strong with skirmishing, especially with Varus, Alistar. Like, this is a skirmish-heavy, pick-heavy composition that can 100-0 someone. I feel like ultimately, Ultra Prime, we have been talking a lot about their proactiveness here in this series and how much they've been struggling with it. It is early days, but as Herald comes up and as Dream just drops Tibbers in the mid lane, that might be a good timer considering Herald 20 seconds from being up as TheShy stops the engage. Ulti as well. Hery gets bopped a little bit. All out is available, but good damage again. Hammershock dodged away from as Ning now invaded on. He doesn't have 6 still. This Sejuani so annoying. Glacial Prison also there. And TheShy's got the wave on lock. This is going to be a hard push, and this just gives Weibo another avenue to another objective.
This is so a couple of things. We saw that play earlier with mid lane. That is one of the annoying things about Annie, is she does this really cool part where she simply presses the R button and enemy mid laner usually loses about 40 to 50% of their HP because it's a great champion. But even in that play, weiwei steals the Gromp, steals the Gromp to prevent level 6 there for Ning. Ning eventually has to tax away from his top laner. And with all of that, it does mean that for the time being, Ultra Prime will have this, will get spotted at the very end. Hery, no teleport. SwordArt is here. Doggo's moved up. They need this objective to go right.
That scrying ward so OP from Xiaohu. Even though SwordArt gets the engage, there's the ulti from Xiaohu himself. It's because Doggo and Dream are here first. As you mentioned, bot lane moving up. The one mistake of Weibo not paying respect is now without the Emperor's Divide, is the fight manageable? We're dancing around.
Oh god, this is such this is a clumsy high school waltz right now. We're just going past it at this point. They're testing each other. They're like, oh, am I supposed to step here? They're stepping on each other's toes just a little bit, but without any action, without a proactive foot from Ultra Prime. What are they to do? They lose out on this objective. Xiaohu on this Azir gains so much ability for them. The small win for the side of Ultra Prime is the fact that Hery will get alone time with his bottom tier turret as TheShy is left to respawn. Other than that, it'll be a small objective. It'll still be a gold lead here for Weibo, almost 1,000 there. And now they have a Rift Hold that they can play for 2 minutes before this dragon spawning. You have to imagine that they'll drop this before then, get early plates for maybe someone like Xiaohu or Light, and then come into a team fight rocking with a pretty big gold lead and continuing some of that item advantage.
We're expecting Light, to be in control, especially with that early CS lead. We keep looking at TheShy, the observer. Very biased at the moment.
They know.
But he loves this Poppy matchup. They know something's going to happen. Of course, with TheShy, I feel like you always do is Xiaohu getting ganked here. Good timing
Fine.
from SwordArt, but the stun doesn't hit. Maybe the trample. He flashes. He gets the shifting sands out of there. But Dream, unfortunate as the spacing from Xiaohu ran past his hitbox.
All right, respect to SwordArt right there. Good use of the headbutt pulverize. Headbutts first, waits for Xiaohu to be able to try to get out of that CC. They stun him up with Dream. I like that. That play is, I think, just a win-win. Doesn't get a kill, but it is a flash out of Xiaohu. We still have that minute before the dragon, so now that is a vulnerable target for the side of Ultra Prime to look for.
Well, with Ultra Prime, more plays like that definitely needed then. A minute, as you said before, that dragon, that is infernal for the stats. Weibo picked up the first one as well. And to stop this team stacking up, especially with the Azir, the Sedge, the Poppy, with so much disruption in the comp, with so much consistent DPS that's going to come through as the game goes on as well. Feels like Ultra Prime definitely need to be in the face of this next objective. But Herald is the problem here, because we're still waiting for this to come down. It's being helped specifically by weiwei to sync up with this next objective timer and give Weibo an edge.
Right now, Weibo, they really want to play on these next two waves, specifically in mid and in bottom lane. The second that light, now with the static shift, he'll be the first to this mini wave. He'll be able to clear it out, and that'll open up space for them to clear a little bit of vision. You already see Crisp starting to poke and prod, trying to see where Ultra Prime's soft bots are. They haven't cleared out this board, so they know weiwei's here. Dream's able to set up, but he doesn't have stun.
Whoa, where did that go? At least Dream flashes over the wall, so we call that a win-win as well, as weiwei now forced to get out, as well as Crisp. His Magnet Storm was used. These ultis being burned before the objective. Weibo being a little bit clumsy and paying the price.
Can't get this dragon anymore. They have to completely sack for this mid lane. Get Xiaohu some plates. He will not have this Azir. I like how greedy Xiaohu is. He took Demolish in this lane, so he's going to get 3 plates because of it. Split gold now between the mid and jungle. Yeah, oh my god. And that comes from weiwei, so they're trying to milk as many plates out of this turret as possible. It'll be the second Drake going over to Ultra Prime, and Infernal will help with some of the gold that they are missing and being able to amp some of that damage. But Dream just didn't have flash. There's just not a position you can walk up in as Annie. Small mistake out from them, still able to get something out of it.
Well, still, I mean, gold is in their favor. It's still a 2k gold lead. The fact that Dragon was traded for quite a bit of gold in the back pocket, maybe might benefit them massively, considering that we are hitting first item power spikes on people like Light here with static shivers. You know, that's a brother. I can't believe weiwei just gave TheShy blue buff on Poppy. He didn't want to take it himself. He literally just gave it over to TheShy.
Who else are you supposed to give it over to, man? There's no one else? You think weiwei needs it? No. Give it to the boss. Give it to the king up in top lane. Gotta give him the blue buff. You know what that means? It means that TheShy now, with a refillable pot and with some extra honey fruit in the river, he can stay here and constantly harass Hery. That's literally that is the way that TheShy wants to play top lane. There's no other players. There's no other teams. It's just me and you in the top lane having an intimate date. We're gonna be hitting the 1v1s.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I mean, it's been this way all game long. This Poppy, I will say, TheShy feels like he's definitely in form today. Some really good kiting going on, and Hery struggling to land an ability. As that every time that hammer shock feels more influential so far. But in our killless game, as turret plating ceases to exist, let's just take a quick stock. Again, we already talked about the gold lead, the dragons. A static shift picked up for both AD. Sunfire for the top laner in Hery. You got a bit of plating that helped him along. But ultimately, it's been a lot slower. So, I've got to ask you a couple of questions about where does the slowness benefit? Is it Ultra Prime? Is it Weibo? I mean, we know there's scaling on both. We know Static Shiv, AP Virus, by the way. So I need to know, what direction are we sending this game in if it goes long?
Well, considering that Light has a range advantage thanks to his W over the Varus, this should be, you know, kind of an opening for Weibo as the game goes on. We've talked about Azir. I think everybody, as soon as they see Azir, their eyes are going to glaze over. They know what's going to happen. We're going to get into like a 20 to 25 minute fight around Baron or around one of these dragons. And the game is going to either be hard won around the Sand Soldiers, or Azir's not actually going to be able to play the game. And so that's where I'm looking for Ultra Prime. When you have stuff like the Wukong, when you have even this this Cassante, being able to take one member out of the fight, maybe use the Cyclone in a really good manner around some of these chokes, that's where I think Ultra Prime can set up. This AP Varus build doesn't work in the same way as the lethality build. You are looking to try to stack up as much blight as possible and then chunk them for 40% of their HP. That is what you need. It's typically off of the ultimate. It's going to take a lot longer for these fights to go, so they need to be able to find picks, find stalls wherever they can.
Well, Ultra Prime, if we're talking about execution, and I know it's a bit of a meme these days, but definitely being a more execution-based comp, I'm a little bit concerned. This team has struggled on the execution part for the whole split. It feels like if Ning's not in control, then the whole team just crumbles. And so far, Ning hasn't been that proactive, but I'll hold my tongue because we are getting set up for second Herald. Teleport coming in, and Ultra Prime do have priority for the time being.
I think TheShy is kind of waiting to see where his perfect angle is. It would be on the top side here. Light will be able to take this, and at any moment, as this Kai'Sa can join this fight, Ultra Prime, I feel like they're going to be very, very trapped. They need to be able to fight out of this position.
Ulti flashed away from, but they've got to pick. SwordArt was looking for a flank, but he's isolated. Meanwhile, Chris jumps on in, gets a knockup with a Magnet Storm on Xiaohu. 3 hits. You think he's isolated, but the rest of the help blast from Ultra Prime are telling a different story. Chris to the first to go with Dream as well. Xiaohu struggling to get out on the backside. Emperor's Divide comes late, and Hery comes in clutch. They get the Herald as well. And at the end of the day, Ultra Prime trade up.
I've been waiting to say this. Hery poggers. Let's go. That's what I like to see. He gets in there. He gets right into the back line. No one was hitting Doggo in that fight, so got able to unload with all of his abilities. Light, unfortunately, not able to find much. Is starting to grow that bounty, but let's take a look at this fight. Kind of a comedy of errors, all things considered, from Weibo. 2 ultimates going missing. Light with split focus here. So much damage onto SwordArt, and that is not onto the relevant frontline members of Ultra Prime. UP going to come up in this fight with a Rift Herald with a couple of kills. The Dragon should have already spawned by the time we get out of this replay. And I have to imagine Weibo should be able to grab that. It is their turn to get an objective. But yeah, it seems like instead they're going to kind of try to finish this off. There's no space for Ultra Prime to walk up.
As you said, that top laner, he is a wizard. I mean, Hery finally coming into fruition in this series, it feels like. And for Ultra Prime, despite still being down in gold, getting that fight equalized from what was a 3.5k gold lead, thanks to Light getting first turret blood in the midst of setup. While we do watch Weibo fail a little bit with their hands, they do get Dragon as we return to live. So it is a Cloud Salt. It is a setup there that Weibo have control of for the time being. But Ulk, as we know, this is it. It needs a bit more time. We know that right now, Ultra Prime have the tools available to find more of these picks. And with longer lanes, with harder vision to get a hold of, you're hoping for the best. As wrong time to talk about it, isn't it? I think Hery could be dead here. Crashdown's there. Depends. Magnet Storm also committed. It is Cassante, though, but Light's damage is massive. Oh my god! With Nashes and with no MR to speak of, apart from the Merc Treads, Hery is just extinct.
Alright, well, that's one way to go down. Hery just not necessarily respecting the fact that Chris could be there. Good job from them to find that. It opens up another turret here for Weibo. So they're just kind of playing on sides. I love what they're doing with this rel right now by having Light on this Kai'Sa. It does give him some survivability. Good job from TheShy to survive.
Turret is still there. I mean, it's dying slowly as TheShy is in a 1v3. He's not surviving this. Tries his hardest, but Tibbers helps out as Ning picks up his first kill. But look at Weibo on the other side. In a turret is actually just going to drop down. This is a better gold trade.
A very long lane. We'll see if Weibo can actually come back to this lane. When you open up the lane so early on, 19 minutes, it does make it very difficult to come back to. You are saying this is a bunch of standing gold. It will lead to a small objective win for them, as come Baron time, when we've talked about it, is definitely a good place to be if you're Weibo. Losing this mid-tier 1, however, equalizes the map so much. It makes sure that Xiaohu cannot sit under this turret. He cannot be safe as an Azir. Probably going to have to use more of his passive. We're going to replay of this. I want to talk about the fact that when you have a Kai'Sa, you can play split push. It is something that is similar to the Tristana like we saw in game 1, where it's super self-sufficient. And we have stuff like Rel bouncing between the lanes. Picks like this just open up so much for them.
And because of that kill as well, I mean, Light was able to get his first. And more importantly, able to push himself up to almost that 3 item point with the Gwinsus closely behind. And that would mean that Light is ahead of Doggo by a significant amount of gold. Right now, a full item's worth. And this is what we were saying in draft, right? This is what we're saying at the start of today. Light has been the most reliable part of Weibo in more games than not. While people like Xiaohu have been faltering, well, weiwei's been questionable in some games. Hell, even Crisp has had some moments. Okay, TheShy as well, let's be real. I feel like
I was going to say, you were avoiding that, man. I was like,
yeah.
We've seen some of these games from TheShy. He had some happy games, but that's TheShy in a nutshell.
It really is. And again, as Ning actually caught out by his old top lane, and they all dive in. Magnet Storm, the pile driver right into the throat. As SwordArt pops the ulti to survive this onslaught, but TheShy zones them off while Baron is now a very real possibility. They're like, hey, forget our bot lane turret. Let's just go for it.
You can have this. Hery should be looking for a teleport, but there are no wards. Gonna have to go straight to the minion wave in top. Ning not alive. They need to be able to find something. Doggo here, though, on a flank from TheShy.
I want to see what happens here as Baron goes down. He gets them into the wall, SwordArt without the ulti. They all flash over the wall. They're running for their lives to spot it out. This is not over. Weiwei's angle is going to burn and turn them. Ultra Prime for their miracle run into playoffs. Weibo, say no! Hery running for his life, but he doesn't have much of it left to go as Light's damage is insanity. Now into the base, TheShy, has he gone too far? No, the all-out, maybe not worth it as one more to the list. Ning dies to revive to die again. Weibo are back.
It's not quite 17-1, but a 7-3 scoreline is what you'll take as Weibo. We get a replay of this. I mean, Doggo is just doing 0 damage at this point. They take this Baron so fast when you have a Kai'Sa, when you have an Azir. And Doggo in that last fight, he landed a full ultimate 3 stacks of Blight onto Crisp and did about 150 damage total to this Rel. We get to see this massive re-engage. Wow, TheShy, small MVP there, using the Vanguard's edge there to just stop the re-engage from SwordArt to stop Crisp. Yep. What a beautiful fight from everybody, and what we come to expect from a team that has so many great names here in the LPL.
And again, like, it might sound like we're really hyping this team up, but when you watch their recent series, they don't really look like this. It might just be Ultra Prime, and people might be like, oh yeah, they're beating Ultra Prime, they should. This team could lose against the Catfish at this point, and we wouldn't be surprised as Magnet Storm, Ultra Prime walked into it as Light gets the ulti in. Oh, it's a massacre. Xiaohu comes in for the final kill credit, but Crisp is crisp on this Rel.
Oh man, he is just fighting every single engage. This Alistar counter pick is just not working as intended. And I think we're actually starting to see that just across the board. When they did change some of how the abilities for Rel works, now she has so many extra stuns in her kit thanks to that Q change. It's very difficult. People around the world maybe having to find a different counter to the Rel, because right now Alistar is not it. As Weibo, they're going to try and finish this game. All of these turrets are paper mache to someone like Xiaohu on this Azir, Light on this Kai'Sa. They can just tear these apart, and now they'll be able to play around 2 different lanes, and as soon as they're done with this Baron push, they can kick it right back to the Dragon. Weibo, they should be looking to close out this game and bring us to a 2-0.
SwordArt close to dying, though. Before that even happens, Xiaohu moves back to mid-inhibitor. That goes down, but because of the health bars here, Ulk, it's an easy double push. Whether they go to the Dragon or try and end, I mean, fair game at this point. They won in 21 minutes in game number 1, now at 24 minutes in game 2. This team that we were doubtful of how they'd perform today against Ultra Prime are on the doorstep to hell, or at least sending Ultra Prime there. A Static Shift doing the work, the poke's still huge, and Light with his W's might not connect this time, but it's only a matter of time at this point, as Hery underneath the turret is not safe, and Weibo with enough health bars here to continue the onslaught. TheShy zones off to weiwei another, and as they jump in onto this Poppy, he cares not, as even against the wall, look at him go. Xiaohu's hitting from behind as they're just trying to kill TheShy, but Weibo just won't die.
Oh god, even like it feels like a little bit of fiesta. They're gonna finally back off. They've been in this base for the entirety of their Baron buff and a little bit more. 2.5 minutes before it spawns. They want to end on this wave or even the next one. Just a constant assault here from Weibo. Ultra Prime, what do you have for us?
Nothing, because this team that was hoping to make a miracle playoff run can't even get away from the fountain. it looks like with the teleport after the fact, Ning's gonna try.
What is this?
But the thing is, Weibo are waiting for you to re-engage. Light, with low mana, still has enough to pop
Chris!
the ulti as Chris doing it yet again. Light flooding in. Chris will sacrifice his life, but Ultra Prime have been dismantled in a series that has taken under 47 minutes, which has to be some kind of a record this split. Weibo have shown us that they're back with fire, that this team still has what it takes to make playoffs, and that Ultra Prime will not get the miracle run that Weibo were holding on to for all series long.
With that win, Weibo, congrats. You've made playoffs.